Welcome back to the Can I Tell You Something podcast with your hosts, Brendan and Claire.
Yes, it is I.
It has been a long time since we released our latest episode, and we're really excited to do this episode because some things have changed around us. You can see that we have started to build a set.
Well, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. We are in a new location, though, and a set is in the near future.
It's a set plan.
Things are in motion. But yes, we took a week off. We learned a lot from our first two episodes, and we're kind of still putting that into play. And so we needed some time to make sure that this episode was going to be really interesting, a little more interactive, I'd say, and kind of a different structure than we started out with.
And playing to our strengths a little bit more, which is for me doing a lot of research and for you having a lot of opinions.
Yes, I think we're the perfect op-ed. I'm the op, you're the ed.
Yes.
I found that research it's not fulfilling for me. I never looked forward to it, but I know that I have lots of opinions that I think need to be shared.
Yes. And I think that I am a research fiend. I love finding the needle in the haystack type stuff. And I love just telling you all of it just because I love hearing what you have to say about it. So that's going to be more of the nature of this episode.
And maybe going forward too. Like, we're still kind of figuring out what future episodes are going to look like, but we'll see.
Yes. And I think the best part about our new little setup here is that we have arms for these mics now.
Finally, we don't have to hold them in our laps like silly little gooses.
Yeah, we're no more silly goose behavior right now.
We're in professional mode, if you will.
Exactly. So without further ado, what is today's subject?
Please enlighten us.
I have in my hand some notes, and all we're going to do this episode is we're going to go through some thought experiments that I have devised myself based off of lots of research about philosophy, thought experiments, and all sorts of garbage like that is a bit
garbage,
boring.
Not garbage. But in other words, we're not doing the trolley.
No.
We're doing 100% original thoughts out of your brain.
Yes.
And seeing where that leads us.
So, do you want to get started with the first thought experiment?
I would love to.
All right. So, this one I have called Humans on the Ocean Floor.
Oh my.
I think that recent events might have inspired this a little bit, but it's a bit different. So the context is as follows.
Okay.
In the year 4800, humans have created vessels that can explore the entirety of Earth's oceans. In doing so, scientists discover a small place on the ocean floor in the Pacific Ocean where there is no current. When they scan the area, they discover complex structures, networks of tunnels, and what appears to be millions of tiny squids. The lead scientist remarks that these life forms replicate behaviors of early human civilizations, alluding to their potential to become the humans of the ocean floor.
The squids.
Yes.
These mini squids are giving Atlantis.
Giving Atlantis a little bit. So,
okay.
You've seen those videos of people finding squids in the ocean.
Yes.
They're really creepy.
No, they're cute.
Until you see they're 150 feet long.
They are huge.
They are huge.
But aren't they like the smartest sea creature?
Yeah, exactly.
If not the smartest creature after humans, which time to insert my first opinion.
Oh my goodness, opinion.
I absolutely loathe when people rank human intelligence and animal intelligence on the same scale. It's obvious that each individual species has their own set of beliefs and values. So how can their intelligence be ranked in the same way ours can?
Yeah, my favorite example of that is does an animal recognize themselves in a mirror test?
Yes.
And it's a sign of intelligence, or it has been for some time, but the way that people refute it is they say that prioritizes visually centric creatures. There are a lot of animals that don't see the way we do. So it's like you're invalidating non-visual intelligence.
Right. And for reference, we have 4 pets. We have 2 bennies and 2 dogs. And we did try this on all 4 of our pets. The bunnies absolutely failed.
Yes.
But that's okay because I find them to be some of the smartest creatures on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And one of our dogs, I think, was indifferent. And then our other dog is very scared of herself in the mirror.
Yeah.
So do with that what you will. But let's get back to squids.
Back to the squid. So the idea I want to really propose in this is that imagine you are a part of this group that finds these squid, right?
These human lurkers.
These squid that are exhibiting very human behavior. More or less, it's you discover that there's other intelligent life on Earth in the way that we would perceive aliens. But now comes the question, if the researchers publish their discovery, they will quickly become the most renowned scientists in human history. However, they risk endangering the squid civilization should they publish their research.
This is quite loaded.
Yeah.
Because my first idea is, how are they similar to humans? You said that they had a network of tunnels or caves or something. Is that mimicking our cities? Can you go into that a little bit more?
Yeah. So I what you know from the research side is that these squid have been building structures, changing the land around them, and that there's evidence that the patterns in which they're changing this land would indicate some sort of network. You have like hubs of dense buildings, some, more sparse ones, ways to get from point A to point B. They've done similar things with slime mold, where they will put, I think, food in certain areas, and slime mold will actually go and seek the food out and create all these sorts of roads and networks. Same with ants, too.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely with ants and anthills.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just doing it in their own fashion.
They're in their own fashion. It's a really elaborate built environment.
That doesn't seem like a stretch to me at all.
Yeah.
I would actually assume that's happening now.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it. And then the other details I do want to add are there's a sense of not only cooperation, but potentially artistic development. I mean, like they are changing the bottom of the ocean floor substantially in this. It's not just digging a couple tunnels. It's entire it looks like a civilization.
Okay. My next question, because this just doesn't seem far-fetched at all to me, is how are the other creatures around them interacting, if at all?
It should be thought of that creatures that are around them are often used as livestock. We know that some animals do this, actually.
We do.
So these squid are taking animals around them and using them as as livestock and resources for their own existence. So they're not always hunting for food.
Interesting. So they're kind of like in the early stages of when humans started doing that. Is that what this is supposed to be setting up?
Exactly.
Okay.
It should feel like this thing you discover is eerily human, or a precursor to the civilizations we have on land today.
Okay. I think I have formed my first opinion.
Okay. What is it?
This is very difficult for me.
Okay.
Because on one hand, I have very, very strong beliefs that all creatures on planet Earth should be ranked morally the same, and that no life is above another. And I don't think a lot of other humans share that belief. And if these researchers were to share that, hey, there's another civilization like us, that could have a chance of changing some people's beliefs. Because I'm talking mostly about the food chain. You know how it says like humans are always on top, and then the carnivores, herbivores, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I hate that. And I would love to see a leveled playing field. So I'm inclined to say that this research should absolutely be shared because of that. But then your catch to this question was that it could possibly endanger this civilization.
Yes.
And I assume you're not giving any more
Think of it as
information.
So yeah, you can't actually know what the risk is. This would be called the paradox of exposure.
Okay.
It's used a lot it's used more recently. I've heard it in the area of when you talk about equitable design for LGBTQ community members. There's the paradox of exposure. If you show that you are openly trans, then you become potentially a a target for violence.
Right.
So by exposing this entire civilization, they could potentially become a target of humans doing bad things. And this has happened before too. There's a lot of research about I don't know what the blanket term is, but it's communities that have been isolated from the rest of humanity for a long period of time, and then they gain contact from an industrialized country.
Right, and that's humans to other humans.
Exactly.
But this is a little different because
yes.
in this situation, these squids would appear to be powerless against humans and whatever we might do to them. So I have definitely formed my conclusion.
Okay.
Because, as you said, this was a little inspired by OceanGate.
Yes.
And the recent silliness that has come out of that. And I think what I learned from that is humans are incredibly selfish creatures and will do anything that they can to get a leg up on others. In this situation, other is maybe a rivaling civilization. So these researchers should absolutely not publish this information for all to see, because the only reason that I would want that published is selfish. I would want people to see that, hey, humans aren't the only top dogs in this land.
Yes.
But that's really unfair, because then it puts this civilization at incredible risk. We know how violent and selfish humans are. Why would we want to expose a growing and probably fragile early stage civilization to something like that? So I would say absolutely not. Do not press the publish button.
Do not press the publish. And for some additional context too, because I have a follow-up question that's like a many years down the line kind of thing, which I love.
We love a follow-up.
We love a good follow-up. But when it comes to doing research too, there's pressure to publish whatever you find because someone is funding your research and they expect something in return for the money that they're spending on it.
You said this was 2040 or 40 something?
Like 48, like 2,000 years in the future.
Okay, so I'm just going to assume that that age of research has come and gone.
Hopefully.
I'm going into this experiment hoping and praying for that.
Yeah.
And so I'm not, you know what? Wasn't even thinking about it. Don't want to hear it. Don't give a rip.
Okay.
I'm here for the rights of the squids.
Yes.
And the squid rights only.
Perfect. Okay, so here's the follow-up I have.
Wait, but what's your answer?
My answer to this.
You have to weigh in. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's true. I can't get out of this one. My feeling with all of this is that there are ways to document this being an occurrence, but also to keep the civilization safe, because it's hypothetically on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean floor.
Right. Who's going down there other than ocean gators?
Even in this world, it is easier to travel and navigate the ocean. My concern would be that someone else stumbles upon it and does negative things.
That's adding quite the dimension.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if this research were to be published, perhaps it could be a protected class or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You would say, this is where this exists. This is what we've observed. We are not giving out the location. And the location itself is protected by some sort of human oversight. I think it would be...
I think if you said we're not giving out the location, that would be much worse. People would probably try and find it. Okay, I'm going to add another element I just thought about.
Ooh.
What about the churchgoers?
What do you mean, what about the churchgoers?
Well, so I'm talking about fundies here. You know how fundamentalists will say that humans are the only intelligible beings in the universe?
Yeah.
This obviously challenges that.
Yeah.
What if some of these fundy leaders go and take all of their special little fundy submarines down into the depths and they destroy the squids? The war of fundies and squids.
My guess is that the squids would win in this one. Just bottom of the ocean floor. They would destroy the fundies.
The squids would absolutely win.
Yeah. Have you seen squids and how narrow of things or octopus can really go through?
The slinky little bodies they have?
They are so...
Of course.
Yeah.
You know how you can go on YouTube and find, like, nature videos?
Yes, I do know.
Per happenstance, the jellyfish videos.
I haven't seen the jellyfish videos.
Oh, well, you know, like when you go to an aquarium and it's just a hall of jellyfishes?
Yes.
It's like that, but for hours.
Yeah.
I would love to see a compilation of squids fitting through things.
Oh my goodness.
Just to watch them and bask in their glory.
I think that people have tried to figure out how small of an opening they can squeeze through, and they haven't. They can't really figure it out.
Is it the same thing where, like, we don't understand why lobsters can't die?
I looked into that. We can kind of figure out why lobster.
Oh, we
can't figure out why they don't age is, I think, a bit confusing. But we understand how they die.
Well, of course we understand how they die, but I was talking about how they're seemingly immortal.
Yeah.
Until humans, put them in Walmart for all to see. Side note.
Yeah.
I find that so weird.
The Walmart lobster tanks?
I don't know if they still do it, but yeah, the Walmart lobster tanks.
They did it. Yeah.
They were horrible.
Yeah.
It's giving Orca SeaWorld, but in Walmart. Free the lobsters from Walmart's grasps. As you can tell, I'm quite the animal lover.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's why you brought this specific thought experiment up.
A little bit.
I will side with the squids until I die.
Let me hit the follow-up question with you.
But you never answered your side of the question.
Oh, I would say that, yes, publish, but the people would be contacted before the publishing because I would be concerned about other people running into it as well.
Wouldn't you have to get the government involved to make it a protective class?
Yeah.
We don't know what the government's like there. What's the state of the government in the 4000s?
That's, I think, outside of the scope of the thoughts I've put into this experiment. These are questions that
must be answered.
Okay.
So you're yay, I'm nay.
So, yeah, I'm yay on
and
this
I'm
one.
nay. Yeah. Just to keep the record straight.
Keeping the record straight.
Okay.
All right. The research group decides to publish their result and establish procedures to keep the squid civilization safe from human contact. Several hundred years later, humans guarding the civilization detect a signal from the ocean floor. The squid civilization is attempting to contact the humans. What should they do?
Oh. I really have to think on this one. The squids are attempting to contact the humans.
Yes.
Through a signal. So that is alluding to the fact that they've created some sort of technology.
Yes.
Wow. I think we should see what they have to say.
So you think that humans should try and make contact with them?
Well, you said the squids are making contact first.
Yeah, they're reaching out.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? What's the downside of this?
The downside would be that you wouldn't want to begin a dialogue with them and the rest of humanity if you want to keep them like safe and isolated. It's almost...
Oh no, I want to hear what they have to say.
So the reason why this comes up in this thought experiment is it's the idea of, is there life in the solar system, or is there life out there in the universe?
Of course.
If there's a super intelligent alien life out there, chances are that their technology would be ridiculous if they could make it to Earth. Like, they would have to be way, way, way more advanced than us in a lot of ways. And so the question is, would those aliens not want to contact us out of fear for our own safety from them? and they would just observe, or would they actually bridge that gap? And so,
But that doesn't apply here because these squids are part of our Earth and our ecosystem.
no, they're isolated from our ecosystem because the spot.
But they still live on the same planet
Yes,
as us,
they
so
do.
I wouldn't classify them as alien.
Or it's the idea of like two life forms that haven't contacted each other, haven't interacted. All of a sudden now interacting.
I'm finding a little plot hole in this.
Okay.
Only because we all know squids.
Mm-hmm.
Live, laugh, love them.
Live, laugh, love them.
So we've contacted squids forever. Like right now, I could go into the ocean and try and find one.
Oh, okay. This is where we go back to bottom of the Pacific Ocean, spot with no current, meaning all that water is stationary, meaning it's an isolated space.
So is
on
it
the
just
ocean
the
floor.
squids that are born there have never seen humans?
Exactly. Like they are entirely different from.
So they don't even know land exists.
Exactly. They haven't explored out to land. They are in the bottom of the ocean
Interesting.
world, and now they are sending signals out to space as far as they know. I'm inclined to say that we don't respond, but continue to observe. If we are.
I just can't get behind that. I am a respond and see what happens kind of gal, because this is what it's giving. You know, in Disney films, how the animals can talk and, respond
Yeah.
and have a little dialogue with humans?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's always been a fantasy of mine. You're saying that if Rue woke up one day and was trying to send me a signal via English that I wouldn't want to respond?
Yeah.
I'm answering that call. I'm seeing what the squiddies have to say. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if I don't like it, they don't know where I am. And if they do, then, well, by that time, I think it's okay for humans to perish.
All right.
I'm an anti-human pro-squid.
Pro-squid.
Girl.
Pro-squid.
Pro-squid. I'm not seeing the downsides here.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
I'm very surprised how opposite we are with this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not surprised.
But that's usually the sign of a pretty decent thought experiment, is that people will be split.
So a little pat on the back for you.
I guess so. I mean, it's a sample size of 2, so.
Well, for those out there watching, I think you'll have to give us our opinions. Are you pro-squid, anti-human?
Pro-squid or anti-human?
Pro-human, don't really care about squid. I don't think...
Pro-squid, pro-human?
Oh, you're pro-squid, pro-human.
Or, no, meaning, are you team squid or are you team human?
Okay, yeah, I'm team squid. So it seems like you're team human.
Yeah, I think I end up becoming team human.
Okay, well, let us know, because it's not looking good for you. It's not looking good for you. If the
Fine.
squids have developed some technology that, first of all, works at the bottom of the ocean, I would say humans are screwed. So we might as well hear what they have to say.
Okay.
Beep, bop, boop.
I think that I am anti-human, though, in the way that I don't trust humans around.
And that was the first
squids.
part of the question.
Yeah.
So you first wanted to protect the squids.
So
then you wanted to protect yourself.
So I'm just a protective little scared boy.
I think you're scared of the squid.
I am
And
scared
you know
of the
what?
squid.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Name someone in your life who isn't terrified of the bottom of the ocean. I know
don't-
I am.
I don't
I'm
think
terrified.
anyone...
I'm terrified of 5 meters down. I don't know what's down there.
Like when my ears hurt a little bit underwater, I'm like, ugh.
Ooh. And when you get water in your ear and it's just in there for days,
Or even worse, ear in your water.
that's when you have to worry.
Yeah. All right. That's the first thought experiment.
Pro squid or pro
Human.
human.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
For me, I'm a squid girl. For those who are just listening, our dog is joining us on the couch, trying to find a little spot, and she's plopped down on Brendan's lap.
This is actually...
It's precious.
It's very comforting.
Good.
Hi, Rue.
So, without further ado, introduce experiment number 2.
All right. I want you to withhold a bit of judgment on this one right off the bat.
But I'm the op and you're the ed.
I want you to withhold a bit of judgment because this is a space travel one.
Space travel.
Space travel.
Like time travel?
Yes.
Okay.
Time travel because of space travel.
Interesting.
So I will read for you the thought experiment, and then I will explain a little bit why it works the way it does.
Okay, so I'm going to sit here and soak in all of your gooey knowledge.
That's an adjective for it, I guess.
Gooey.
All right. You are among 100 volunteers selected to participate in the first deep space flight in human history. The mission is to visit the planet Gliese 667cc, an actual planet, which is an Earth-like planet I'm going to start from the top.
Okay.
You are among 100 volunteers selected to participate in the first deep space flight in human history. The mission is to visit a planet, Gliese 667cc, an Earth-like planet 24 light years away from Earth. To make this mission possible, a spacecraft was designed that can travel 99% of the speed of light. This means that the mission will take less than 7 years for the people on the ship, but 48 years for the people on Earth.
To get there?
To get there and back. It's a round trip one.
Well.
Your team completes a successful mission and returns to Earth and safely lands in the ocean. After several hours, a battalion of aircraft carriers appear on the horizon, and the ship's radio buzzes, "This is the United People's Republic of Earth. We do not wish to harm you, but will not hesitate to destroy your vessel for the preservation of humanity. State your business in these waters." Assuming that the United People's Republic of Earth knows nothing of your mission, how do you convince them to not destroy your ship?
I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I was zoning out the whole time.
So
Can you give me the Spark Note
I'll give you
version
the
of
Spark
that?
Notes.
It was a little much. The goo was too much.
The goo was too much. Yeah.
When space is involved.
The brain.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that some listeners felt the same.
Yes, you will get.
I don't want to feel alone in this.
Hardly. It is a bit heady. Okay. But what happens is if you travel really, really fast in space, time moves slower for you than it does for people on Earth. Relatively is kind of how it works. So fast spaceship, time slow. So to actually travel that distance and back would take you under 7 years if you're on the ship. But if you're not on the ship,
it's 48.
It's 48 years.
Are you aging 48 years?
No, you only age 7 years. Like literally time is only 7 years on that ship.
But people you love have aged 48
years, right?
Wow.
And so part of the hypothetical here is that because of that, there's multiple decades gap between when you take off and land on Earth. And the idea is that whoever funded this thing all of a sudden is not able to contact you afterwards. It's like,
so once you're out, you're out.
Once you're out, you're out, and then you get back, and all of a sudden everything that you thought was a part of this mission has probably been destroyed, eliminated. Like imagine a revolution happens and a bunch of documents get destroyed. That sort of thing happens.
On Earth. And
you're in the middle of the ocean with this vessel. People probably think you're an alien. They probably saw you. I
thought we were in space. Now we're in an ocean?
Yeah, so you make it there and back in this. You make it all the way back to Earth.
Oh, so we're all dealing with just a bunch of humans here.
We're dealing with a bunch of humans.
See, I thought that this United Republic whatever thing was aliens, and I was getting really freaked out for a second.
Well, they might as well be aliens.
I've got this.
You got this one?
Oh, this is nothing. Humans,
okay.
Humans are humans. They're not squids, but this is...
Okay.
Reason with them.
Okay, well, start the reasoning. I'll be the dissenting opinion.
So you will be the United Peoples
I will be the little Chodemeisters of Earth.
Okay, and I will be this only aged 7 years volunteer.
Yes. State your business. What are you doing here?
We just came back.
Back from what?
Traveling the old galaxy.
I don't think that that's possible. You can't do that.
Where is my welcome home party? Been waiting for this for 7 years.
Welcome home from who?
From you.
We don't know who you are.
But you absolutely do.
We don't, though.
So...
Convince me that you're an actual human.
Well, I assume we look the same.
We do.
So that doesn't seem very hard. If we look different, then that would be really difficult.
But that's not good enough for me.
Based on how we look?
You just came from outer space, crashed into Earth, and now we're on a ship.
Okay. Take a look at my space vessel, mister.
Okay, I've never seen it in my life.
Well, look at the materials used. These are all from Earth.
How do you know that they're not from another planet?
Well, you have to dissect it and look.
I'm not going to get that close.
Why not?
Because it could be dangerous. You could kill all of us. You could have a virus, a bioweapon. You could destroy us in an instant.
What if I pinky promise not to?
Oh, that is a sign of human behavior a little bit.
Pinky promise. Now I'm cluing you into my culture. Who's the president? Reagan?
No, wrong direction.
Barron Trump?
No.
I saw a TikTok on that today.
Barron
Someone
Trump
like looking to the future. I think it was 2048 or something.
Yeah.
It was like President Barron Trump.
But okay, here's like another juicy bit.
Oh no, I just came up with something.
How would you convince me?
What if I described the like political events that happened the year that we left? Because only a human could know that. Why? Why is that iffy?
Because the victors determine what's written in history. You can rewrite history easily after a revolution.
No. I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about specifics. Like, for instance, Joe Biden is president in 2023. Saying factual things like that.
Yeah.
If I could recall events from the year or even like the day that I left, I'd say that's pretty convincing. You know, when people get kidnapped and stuff, they want to make like certain things to clue in their loved ones.
Yes.
It's like that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's like these are the truths that this is my secret little thingamabob. This is my secret code.
You would have to. I think it's weird to think about convincing a human that you're a human.
Rue's licking your knee.
I know. Good job, bro.
I don't think it'd be that hard to convince a human you're human.
Yeah.
I really don't. And so I think that trying to find a factual piece in history that only a human could know would be my best shot. Because you can't say that that didn't happen.
Yeah. So it would have to be, though, something you couldn't just Google, though. You couldn't just look up quickly. Like, it would have to be...
But an alien wouldn't even know what Google is.
I mean, in this hypothetical, you know what Google is.
I'm not an alien. You know what? I'm going to go back to what you said.
Yeah.
It was either in Squiddy or this one. My brain just turned off.
What did I say? Do tell.
Oh, it was... I'm going to go back to what you said. It was either in the Squid one or this one, where you said that if aliens were able to contact
Were able to contact us.
If aliens were able to contact us,
yes,
chances are they wouldn't out of fear or whatever reason.
Yeah.
So therefore, how could aliens even know what Google was or what certain things are happening or like even cultural things? Like you said, pinky promise, an alien would have no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
A pinky promise.
Pinky promise.
Diagnab it. I'll swear it on my life.
I think it would be weird to do... It would be weird to time travel or have a big jump in time where it's such a big jump that your language does not exist anymore.
I don't think that's true, though, because it's only 48 years.
Or I'm saying, like, if we stretch this even further, like, if it was a long, honking long time, like, all of a sudden 500 years.
You might be screwed.
You just show up and you just you hear some buzzing and it's like, blah, 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 blah. You know?
Like
how would you
if
respond?
English no longer Englished.
Exactly.
Yeah, then I think you'd be toast.
English no longer Englishing it's like not that long ago that we couldn't understand English 400 plus years ago. Like, not a chance. Shakespeare.
I think we can understand it. We just choose to not speak like that.
No. It's like you have Old English, you have Middle English, you have like phases that the English language goes through that you would not be able to understand. Like it's not that long ago too, which is the really weird bit.
So in this hypothetical, we might not even be able to communicate.
Yeah, if it's 500 years, you might not be able to communicate.
Well, then you know what? Toast. I'm gonna go back in my little ocean gate and sail away.
Sail away to
the squids. I mean, gosh, that sounds like a better time than humans.
You'd find the squids. I'd find the squids, honestly. Because if a bunch of big old military shipsies came up to my fun little space flight party, I'd be like, no.
You wouldn't even... Oh, so you're saying that you wouldn't even try and reason with them. You'd be well on your merry way.
You know, I think I would skip town.
Wow.
If that's possible in this.
I think that'd make you look a little sussy.
It would make me look really suspicious, for sure.
That might be more dangerous. Okay, but let's go back to the actual hypothetical of the 48 years.
Yeah.
I think my best shot would be trying to communicate a cultural or historical or political event that only humans on Earth could understand.
Like this. I knew you.
I thought Yes. Oh my gosh.
Like
I would
like
say
that.
In 2023, in July of 2023, Taylor's Speak Now Taylor version was released. And it went like this. I thought That is no hate. Bye, Rue. That is no hate. We are a Taylor household.
Yes. There's just one moment where she has like an amazing vocal inflection that
honestly, it's great.
It's been stuck in our heads for the past few days.
It's things like that I think humans could understand.
Oh, totally. And the thought of, I think honestly, Taylor Swift would be a great bet in terms of convincing someone that you're a human being. Oh, hi, bro. Can you lay down?
I think the Taylor Swift and Ye controversy. What if you just said, I was there when Kim... I was
there on the internet.
I was there when it was started.
I was listening to a podcast the other day.
What about the Colleen?
Oh my goodness.
I remember Miranda
saying, the gossip train. Yeah, Rue did not like that. Hey, Rue.
I don't blame her. But
I'm going to pop up this pillow so she can let
her into our fortress.
Yeah.
Rue, come.
Come, child.
But I think there are certain things that don't change throughout humanity that could be verified.
Yeah.
And it's only 48 years. That's not very long. And if they don't reason with that, then I think you sail away to the squids. Rue, my cherries!
Rue, you little goblin.
I brought some cherries as snack, and she was sniffing them down.
Yeah.
Oh, for instance, do dogs still beg when you're at the table? Yep, I thought so.
Yeah, that's not going to change in 48 years.
No. So, is there more to this?
No, we're going to go to the next one.
Okay, but I think it's helpful to state our final. Because, you know what? This is what happened last time. You didn't give your opinion.
Oh, shoot. All right.
Now, okay, roles reversed. I'm the united peoples of people. Hey!
Yeah.
Who goes there?
It's me, Mario.
Oh, you would get me instantly.
Yeah. See, I think I would get so nervous that I would make like a dumb joke. And it would probably have enough of a pop culture reference.
So we agree that pop culture is the easiest way to communicate on a human level. I'd say so.
I would just like whip out 8 different references as fast. I would be like Elton John, Mario, Beyonce, like anything to whatever sticks. Like because who knows who gets remembered that far in the future.
Oh, I know Beyonce does.
Yeah.
In 48 years? Easy.
Yeah. You would think so. Taylor Swift for sure, I think. Like she has had such a long and incredibly successful career. It's without comparison, and she has like now duplicates of album for a reason, of course.
I think in 48 years there will be 48 albums times 2 Taylor's version.
96 Taylor Swift albums.
So it's just a given.
It's a given. It's like 48 years from now. It's like you still have Taylor.
Both of our final versions are refer to Taylor Swift.
When in doubt, Swift it out.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. For this is a thought experiment along the lines of how do you prove that you're a human? It shows up in a lot of AI things, like how do you tell what's a human and what's not a human? I also think about it from a lot of time travel bits, like what if you show up after a long period of time passes and you have to convince people that you're just another human, and like how would you go about the rest of your life? And then you can also think about it from, because there's a lot of talk of like parallel universes and like alternate realities. Like what if you skipped into a different reality where people didn't know you? How would you prove that you exist?
Like your mom or dad didn't know you?
That was a good lick noise too. Oh, thank you. Are you ready for our final thought experiment?
I am.
So in the year 2045, a new product called RoomLink enters the market, boasting the ability to allow humans to move seamlessly between any room where RoomLink is installed. Your home office can take you to your work office, your TV room can take you to a show on Broadway, or your living room can host all of your closest friends while keeping them in the comfort of their own home. Given the privacy concerns with this technology, RoomLink only works when both parties consent to sharing a space, and the room host can cut connection with any party at any time. So I'm sure that you're going to have some questions about this.
Several right off the bat.
And I want you to rapid fire. You should think about this as the room where it's installed is the only room that people can enter or leave. They can interact with the room just the way that you would. And kind of like Zoom, you have a host and you can let people into your room, but both parties need consent.
Okay, so when you were first talking about this, I thought you were describing walking through walls.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought of was Twitches 2, my favorite Halloween movie, where I don't remember which sister gets stuck in the middle of the wall while she's going through it. Always been scared of that.
I was going to say, getting stuck between walls is one of my worst fears.
Yeah, that should never have to happen.
I think it comes up in Only Murders a little bit too, when they go in the walls.
I love Only Murders.
That's a whole other side note. Only Murders in the Building. Show favorite show.
The show favorite. Anyway, and then you transitioned into the Zoom like atmosphere, and I just thought of Zuck in his headset looking around at all of his friends.
Yep.
Terrifying, hated that.
Yeah.
But now, and correct me if I'm wrong,
okay,
my understanding is it is some sort of device that needs to be installed in the home area and in the area you are wanting to enter. So for instance, you said Broadway show. Yeah. Let's say we had it installed here in the studio. We would walk from the studio through a wall and we would enter into a theater.
Our studio would become the theater, like that. It's like your room space can become any other like room.
Is this
space.
All virtual?
So
or
no
is it
headset,
real?
just like imagine a dreamy room where you can do anything. You can hop into any of these rooms.
So is it Apple Vision minus the vision?
Minus the headset, it's like a full room.
But you're not actually there.
You're not physically there, but you can interact with objects in that room like you're actually there.
Interesting.
So it's like if we snapped our fingers and showed up in an office, then we snapped our fingers, now we're sitting in seats in like Broadway.
Okay.
So don't worry about how any of this works. It just does.
It's just the reality.
It's just the idea that you can fully transport into any other room as long as the technology is installed there.
And both parties have to consent.
Yes.
Next question.
Okay.
If we follow this Broadway show model, I assume you still have to pay.
Yeah, some things you would have to pay for, some things you don't. Hanging out with your friends, probably not.
No, the whole point is you don't have to leave your home.
You don't have to leave your home. So
So people who should be going outside and touching grass are no longer doing that. They're snapping their fingers into... Okay, so ask me the question.
Yeah,
Where does this all lead?
Okay, so I have, because this is heavily Zuck inspired, I have our nightmare hypothetical right off the bat, which is for hybrid work, your employer requires you to set up Room Link in your home office so you can be present while working from home. What do you do?
So...
Because I want to say that this is like too...
I'd quit.
It's like, I want to say that this is too outlandish, but
No, it isn't.
This is the exact scenario
That's where we
the
might be
Metaverse
headed.
talks about. Like,
so, all of the perks of work from home or hybrid work are immediately thrown out the window because now we're not wearing our sweatpants and a work shirt. We're just going to work.
You open this door.
But in a different way.
Yeah. Like a Monsters, Inc. door type scenario.
Absolutely not. I'd quit.
You'd quit?
I'm a work from home girly at heart.
But, I mean, just explore with me a little bit. Let's say you're not in the position to be able to quit, right?
Okay, which is true. That's where I'm at.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Life.
This is a more realistic scenario. You're not in the position to quit. Like, how do you cope with that? Because for me, right off the bat, I would want to cry. I want to curl up in a ball.
I don't think you can because it's no different than actually getting in your car and driving to work and going into an office. Now, essentially, all you're doing is making that faster.
Yeah, you're sacrificing a room for it.
Well, no, all you're doing is taking away the commute.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what... It's not a new emotion. It's just reverting back to the days of old, working in an office.
Yes. I think that the only difference, though, is that there is this... Like, the work from home that we've set up currently is you can kind of leave it you can leave at any time for the most part. You can press end call on a Zoom call, that sort of stuff.
Right, and go run errands or go on a afternoon walk.
You can mute your mic. Things like that. Those are the affordances that we currently have. Yes. Take all of them away, make it more realistic, push it in the direction, the extreme of, think about it this way. Like Zoom, the issue is that it doesn't feel like you're interacting with people.
Right.
It feels like you're interacting with a bunch of screens. There's a weird delay. If all of that we got rid of all of it.
I think you're just describing working in person.
Yeah, I'm describing working in person, but the weird invasion of privacy of it being in your home.
But it doesn't look like your home. It looks like work.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think you would be okay with that? Like working from home, but it feeling like you're...
Yeah, I honestly think I would prefer it. Because part of the reason that I really don't like working in an office is because commutes are long.
Yeah.
And, having to get up significantly earlier to get to work. And then also something that I'm quite fond of is a midday siesta.
Yeah.
Or something of that sort. And so if I can be in a work environment, but then snap my fingers... And now I'm just back in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Making lunch, and then I go take a quick 20-minute nap. Ain't no biggie. You know what? Sign me up. I think I like it.
So really, in I think a more realistic world scenario, you would actually be kind of into it.
If I had to do it, and in this, like you said, there this is a requirement of the
It's
job.
that or going to the office.
Oh, I'd pick this over the office any day.
It seems like Rue agrees.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I think that it's one of those things where I'd be excited about it in a recreational way, but not in a work way.
So you would only want to use it for fun?
I would want to use it for fun. For working stuff, I kind of want more of a barrier. Like the work-life balance thing.
I'm the way opposite because for the fun things, like a Broadway show, I want the experience of going into the theater.
Yeah. Our dogs are doing little silly bits on the ground, but...
They're making out.
Yeah.
But with work, you know what? Don't want to get anywhere near an office. Don't ever want to.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it like Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
If you could snap your fingers and be in Disneyland, but you're actually just in your apartment, that doesn't sound as fun as going to Disneyland.
I wonder, part of what I wonder is like how much will we lose from not having these little trips, like the us moving from one place to another of
it doesn't feel like that is human and how it's supposed to be. We had to take a quick break to get the dogs oriented.
And as you can see, we now have 2 friends that are joining us.
And for those who can't see, Alfie is on the couch and Rue is on top of Alfie. Let's get back to Zuck.
Let's get back to Zuck. So yeah, I would feel we're talking about, just to get us back into it, us moving from point A to point B, kind of going somewhere, the act of just walking somewhere is enjoyable, to me at least.
And being in a physical space, like a theater, it's so different than your home.
Yeah.
That's part of why you go there.
Yeah.
So why would you want to take that away? But for work, you don't go to work because the office has ambiance. I worked in a office once that was playing white noise, and I think they were trying to be on the hipper side,
yeah.
And honestly, it was kind of nice sometimes, but then it was also a little weird.
Yeah.
So I guess there might be some workplaces that are more enjoyable than others. But in general, no one wants to be in an office. And if you do say that, you're lying. Plain and simple.
For me, I think that what would make me want to go to an office is if it feels like I can go beyond my desk to interact with other people, then I'd want to be in an office.
So it's all about the other people.
Yeah.
But it's never about the actual environment.
Yeah. I should feel like I can walk past people a lot. I love when they describe some like design workspaces, the thought of you having these so a lot of design workspaces look really similar to the way that Apple stores look, where you have big tables that are towards the center of the room. You can see across the entire thing, and there's just like a lot of space to interact with, to put things on tables, to go back to your little desk and come back. I like being able to move around a bigger space. I like that
too. But in this scenario, what was it, Room Link?
Room Link.
Wouldn't all of that would still exist just in the comfort of your own home? So what's the catch for you? Because you initially really didn't want that.
Yeah, I think the catch for me would be that ultimately you're confined to wherever Room Link is installed. So for an office space, that means that it's only going to be installed in priority spaces for interaction or work.
But how
it's
do
not
you
going to
know
be installed
that?
everywhere.
How do you know that? Because that's up to whoever's running.
Think about
the office.
Yes, it is, but they're not going to install a Room Link for the hallway. Why would they do that?
Well, if you need to get from point A to point B,
you would just switch rooms. You wouldn't walk across the hall. You would just switch rooms.
I see.
So it's like take your journey from wherever you need to go.
There's no going to visit the water fountain.
No, there's no water fountain. There's no water cooler talk. There's no like casual, There's no casual bumping into someone.
If that's the case, don't you think humans would maybe develop a different way to interact?
You would hope so, but all I see right now, think about what places you can go that you don't have to spend money, where you can bump into people. Dog parks are one of them.
The greatest.
It's the greatest.
Grocery store.
Grocery store.
Maybe a post office.
But think about it. Grocery store. Why are you're not hanging out in the grocery store.
No, you're there on a mission.
You're on a mission. And also, if you go to a coffee shop, kind of got to pay for some coffee.
Right. Well, a grocery store you have to pay.
That's what I mean. Is a grocery store, you're in there to buy groceries. You're not there to hang around, unless it's us in the bottom floor of the QFC, where they have all the most fun goodies.
It's the mall.
It's the mall.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Though. There seems to be some valuable human interaction lost through
Yes.
Room Link.
Here's a new element to the Room Link ordeal.
Okay.
You don't have it installed in your home for work or anything like that.
I have a quick question that just bubbled to the surface.
Oh, yes, do tell.
How much is Room Link? Does the average person have enough cash laying around to?
No. It's greater than Apple headset price.
No.
Yep.
So it's thousands.
It is thousands. And so that's why it makes sense for an employer to give it to you, but not for someone to get it for themselves.
So it's only the wealthy using it, and then people who are forced to at work.
Yes.
Sounds wretched.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like I'm anti-Room Link.
Yeah, so you're anti-Room Link, but your friends just moved a few hours away,
No.
making it difficult to have them over as often, which I think we can relate to because our best friends are very close, not many footsteps away from us.
It feels like a lifetime.
Feels like a lifetime.
They're a couple blocks away.
Yeah.
That's it.
It really, but it's a walkable distance,
It is.
but it's not a few hours away. If they were a few hours away, that would suck.
It would. Especially because FaceTime makes me scared.
You know, I don't like FaceTime.
I don't either.
And during the holidays, they gift you a Room Link. You know, they just ran into some cash. They're like, guess what?
Might as well.
Might as well blow it on my friends that I care
kind.
about. And with a note saying they hope that this could help them come over when it's too challenging to commute.
Oh,
Do you install Room Link to hang out with your friends?
absolutely.
I think so too.
What's the downside here?
I think that the downside would be that it's like the privacy element of it all.
But you said in the beginning that they can't come over unless it's like a consenting time and the host has to let them in. So what's the privacy?
That you would be trusting the company that runs Room Link.
Oh, I thought that we were the hosts. For instance, if Emma and Sarah were to come over, these are our friends in question that only live a few blocks away.
Yes.
If they were to come over and we said, hey, come over at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, and they arrived at 2:58 on Tuesday, and we'd be like, beep, bop, boop, admit.
See, we're missing a key element here,
Okay.
which is that for Room Link to work, there has to be a middleman.
The room linkor.
There has to be a company in the middle that makes it so that your room becomes their room. There has to be something that makes
But
this technology
why?
because it just doesn't work by snapping your fingers.
Well, you said it did. I'm thinking of Zoom because that's what you
Yes.
connected it to.
Who owns Zoom?
Zoom.
The Zoom people.
Probably Zuck.
And do you fully trust Zoom to never record anything from any of those calls?
Oh, never.
And so why would you trust Room Link?
That's not what I'm concerned about here. This is all about admitting people in.
Think about it from the perspective of you have sensors now in your room that detects everything in your room, everything that happens in that one room. That room is potentially open to the world
All the time.
all the time. It has the potential. It's not going to do it, but it could.
So you wouldn't want room linking installed in something like your bedroom or your kitchen or some place you frequent.
Yeah.
In other words, you would have to have a designated room, like a spare bedroom of the sorts, that is solely for room linkage, which I will say makes sense for the type of people who can afford room link. Because if room link is several $1,000s, I'm going to go ahead and make an inference here. And say that those people probably have more than a one-bedroom place.
Yes.
Apartment, house.
That is a safe assumption. Yes.
So what's the issue? Because what I'm gathering here is room link, like a lot of AI technology, Vision. Is that what it's called?
It's a Vision Pro.
Vision Pro is only for the wealthy.
Yeah.
So
essentially.
I don't see, I mean, I have issues with that, but that's not what this is about.
But let's think about this from, you are not the wealthy, but you've been gifted one. Someone hands it to you. It's like, hey, I'm being nice. Hang out with me.
Can't you turn it off when you're not using it, though?
You could. You could probably unplug all the hardware.
So that's my solution.
So you would be unplugging and plugging back in.
Totally.
But do we do that with our speaker at home?
No, and I know she's listening. I know because she will turn on randomly.
Yep. So
the way I see it, Apple already has all my data. What do I have to lose?
So you think that the more likely scenario is that you're just going to slowly surrender more and more of yourself digitally?
I think we all have.
Yeah.
With all the devices we rely on.
I mean, I think so too.
What's another one? What's another room link?
Like what? Yeah. What's another camera to? I mean, they keep on adding more cameras to phones, right? So
they're everywhere.
And
I'm not saying I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if this were to become a common practice in society, and you're already doing it for work, what's the issue? Because the same thing could be said for any technology that you introduce. Like, think about when the iPhone first came out. I'm sure that was a big, like, Jobs is after us. I couldn't say I was, like, 6 or whatever, but...
I feel like there's more with when 5G rolled out. There's been more conspiracy with that.
I couldn't tell you what 5G even is. Couldn't even guess.
It's literally just, hey, the same thing. We made it slightly faster.
What is a G?
I actually don't know. I think it stands for gigahertz, which is like the frequency.
Couldn't care less. So,
this is how we exist, though. Yes. For everyone listening, is that I will get to a weird objective point, and you'll be like, yeah, kind of doesn't matter. That's not important.
And it really isn't. But you know what is important?
Yes. What? I don't know. What is important? Do tell me. I need to know now. Don't deprive me of this knowledge.
The ooey gooey knowledge. You know what? Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
At the end of the day, technology will consume you whether you consent to it or not.
I feel like that's the most honest answer.
I would install Room Link, and I'd like to say I would unplug it, but there would probably be times when I couldn't care less.
Yeah, you'd be like,
It would fade into the background.
Exactly.
Zuck's got my data on speed dial.
I think it just... What I think is interesting about the Room Link hypothetical, too, is that, to me at least, it helps illustrate how, with enough social pressure, people want to say that they will act perfectly, right? Yeah. But they ultimately probably won't.
People are going to do what's convenient.
People are really lazy.
Especially if it's in your own home.
Yeah. And so when it comes to me and thinking about, like, when I think about design, I have to assume that people will not automatically will not unplug the Room Link. Right. I would want, if I were to design something like a Room Link, I would want to be able to ensure that no matter what, you could tell that everything was off.
Like when a camera's on, the little green light's on, and when it's off, it's not.
I've seen
Kind of
that
thing?
actually taken to like a whole nother level recently where you'll see now cameras that are installed in devices that the lens will pop up when it's on and it will go down when it's off. So that it's not even possible that it's on without the light going on.
So they're trying to make it even more obvious
Yes.
because of how honestly sinister some hidden cameras and that sort of stuff have become.
Yeah. And I think that
But
that
who's
that's,
doing that? Not Zuck, not whoever we're nicknaming for Apple.
It's Tim.
Not Tim.
Not Tim. Not Tim Cook. But it's interesting though, because with those headsets too, they have, it's not just that they have like 1, 2, or 3 cameras. They have an array of cameras, literally an array of them. And it is not just cameras for light, it's cameras for infrared too. It is a lot of visual information that they need to be able to send through a camera to make sense of the environment that you're in.
And that's all hidden from us.
It's
from the everyday
person.
consumer.
Yeah, they like the everyday person's not gonna fully understand that. And I don't think that just because there's an array of cameras attached to your face that we should all protest the fruit company Apple. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think it's that it's important to think about when you have technology, you need to think about what's the worst thing that this technology can do and what is the company that's making it doing to prevent that from happening. And I will say that in the world of all these cameras and in the world of a lot of information being sent back and forth between entities, Apple, in my opinion, of the big tech giants, has been the most clear with what information goes from one app and service to another. That's why you get the "do you want this app to track you across other apps" notification all the time. It's annoying, but that used to not be a thing. And
Right.
that actually reduced, it prevented Facebook. It was a big kind of middle finger to Facebook because it prevented you from being tracked between your apps to collect more data on you, to sell you or to create better ads for you. So Apple has been in the better space with that. They're also really good about health data privacy. Google is not. But that's a whole other thing. More or less, Roomlink is just it's a thought experiment. It's not real.
Until it is.
Until it is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. I feel like I've given you enough boring hypotheticals.
I don't think they're boring at all. I think they were all interesting in their own way.
Yes.
I definitely resonated the most with the squids.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't?
The little squidlies.
Who doesn't love squids and all the little creatures of the ocean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I think it was really fun.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see how different our views were.
I like that our views are different, though, because it makes me think more about everything I believe.
Yeah, me too.
Because I mean, you're someone that I really love and respect. And so when you have a different opinion than me, I think about it very seriously because I trust you a lot. And so if you have a different opinion than me, I like to know why, because it shows me more of who you are at a very deep level, which I think is kind of sweet and beautiful.
It is very sweet. And I hope everyone listening can take that with them
Yes.
somehow and think about how you can integrate that in your life, especially with those who you know have very different opinions from you.
Yes.
And trying to empathize with where those opinions come from instead of villainizing them. Unless they deserve to be villainized.
And I hear it like come up all the time, we don't have the context for this. We don't have the context for that. Context has become a big buzzword, kind of an issue. But I do want to think about in general, when you see things online, you should ask yourself, what kind of emotion is that comment trying to provoke? Or what kind of response is expected from a piece of content, and why would someone do something to generate that sort of emotional response. And if you can think about that a little bit, if it's not just, hey, we're in a thought experiment, there's no stakes, none of this is real, and so we can say what we want to say and explore ideas, and that's fun. That's cool and all. But when someone's posting things online and it really relates to your everyday life and it makes you instantly upset, you should ask those questions, and it can help. I think it helps ground what your response should be to that. There are people that are going to instigate and infuriate all the time. And it's our responsibility to contribute meaningfully in spaces where meaningful contribution is respected and rewarded. And when people are trying to bait you, you kind of move on, separate, and you don't continue to do the whole internet dance of just people throwing chaos and terrible stuff at each other. And
absolutely, unless that's warranted.
There are
times,
yes.
For instance, in the last few weeks, toxic gossip train, that sort of stuff is very, very warranted to be upset with.
Yes.
And there's kind of only one yes or no response to that.
Colleen stands, don't come for us.
No,
wherever you are.
No Colleen stands allowed here. But besides that, most situations have a lot of nuance. And things that we've presented you today, although they were fake, could be real one day. And that's, I think, really important to think about. You want to the future.
You want to know a little fascinating bit that I discovered while researching this?
I would love to.
Is that a thought experiment predicted the Titanic.
Did it predict Ocean Gate too?
No. It predicted the Titanic in a thought experiment that talked about like a super large ocean vessel that it was a design fiction sort of scenario where it's super large ocean vessel. They want it to appear like this big grand thing, but they skimp on the lifeboats. They have the minimum amount required, and it hits an iceberg in the Atlantic, and a lot of people die. The exact thing was written down by someone because, hey, this potentially could happen.
Wow.
And then it did.
So you heard it here first. Roomlink, how many years did you say it would be?
I said 2045, so give it 25 years or so.
Roomlink is coming to a store near you in 25 years.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Watch out.
All right, everyone. And with that, I think we are going to wrap up this episode of Can I Tell You Something? Please, please, please follow, subscribe, like the show. Not quite sure which one of those verbs applies to each platform, but you get the point.
Engage with us online.
Please, and please let us know your opinions on these thought experiments. I am most curious about the squids.
Yes.
What's your opinions there?
What am I most curious about?
Of opinions from them.
I am most curious about the Roomlink work thing.
Okay. So let us know, are you team human or team squid? And would you install Roomlink to go to work?
Would you Roomlink it or would you commute it?
Roomlink or commute. Bada bing, bada boom, as easy as that.
Mr. Worldwide when he failed to appear at a concert this week.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That sounds like a great thing to talk about next week.
Yes. Anyways, thank you for joining us.
All right. Bye.
Bye.